Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nathaniel, and we'll be solving the bug sense. Let's get right into it. Okay, so one of the few things that let me just show I'm recording. Okay, so one of the few things that we'll need to do so there are three major things that we need to always do. So the first thing is do an Nmap scan, do a gobuster scan, and do a searchsploit search on whatever box we're dealing with. And sometimes getting the version of the box helps us narrow down our search in determining what kind of exploit script we'll be using on searchsploit. So I have already done the Nmap scan and I've already done the gobuster scan. But one of the few things I would go through the scripts that I wrote, and then from there we'll look at the output and then we'll go on from there. So what do we need this for? Okay, so one of the few things here is we're just going to seed into our desktop and then seed into sense and then ls over here. Now we have our sense gobuster txt and a sense txt also. Now I'm going to tell you what I did for an Nmap scan. So I did v2, which is very verbose. Basically what that means is that it shows you what is going on in the background. It shows you, like, for example, what percentage the Nmap is currently in its scanning process. And then we have those SV, which is basically version scanning, and there's SC, which is default script. And then we have this T4. Now, in previous videos I've used T5, but T4 generally is a sweet spot between accuracy and enumerating target accurately and speed also at the same time. And I specify the target 10.129.112.148, and then the output I put it into basically whatever file, like sense.txt over here that I've created. So that's that for this for Nmap scan. So when I did all that, the result I got was the txt. So this was the result I had. So in this in the output, we see that here port 80 is open, running HTTP, and we have port 443 over here, which is the service it's running now, which gives me an idea that we're dealing with a web server over here. So we'll go here, copy our script and copy our URL, and go here and click enter. So in doing this, we see this over here. Now it gives us the option to be able to view the security certificate for 10.129.112.148. So when we view the certificate, we see over here that one of the reasons why we view it is maybe we could find a username and password. No, maybe not password, but username over here, because when we see the common name over here, it says it's your name. Now, so there's really nothing for us to view here. We just like to make sure that we do a full good enumeration on our target. Now, once that is done, then we go here and we accept the risks, and we look at the box we're trying to deal with. This is the PF sense box over here. Now, okay, let's clear this over real quick. Now the next thing, like I said, is the gobuster enumeration process, which basically what it does is it does a brute force against our target machine to look for hidden directories in there. You can either use gobuster or the buster, whichever one you're comfortable with. You can do that. So let's look at the gobuster over here. Now, so this is not what we want to use. This is not our target. 129. I've already ran this already, so I'm just going to go through .148. Yeah. And all right, so now when we use gobuster, we use dir over here. Now the dir is basically an argument for both running against both directories and files. Now we specify the shield, the target machine we're trying to do, and the -w, the word list we're trying to use to brute force against the web server. Then we have -x over here, so we specify .txt. I tried .php, I didn't find any result. It didn't bring anything out useful for me, and so I had to also try .txt also. So .txt brought out two major files for me, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you the result after this. And now -k is basically to ignore all SSL certificates. So that's what that is for. Now we will look at the results that we had. Now, this was the result we had after running that script. Now, after running the script, we see here that there are multiple files. I looked through all the files, but we found the only two that stood out to me. Change log over here, .txt, and system users.txt over here. So we're going to look at both. Okay, so we see here that there was a failure in updating the firewall. Manual patching is therefore required. 2 of 3 vulnerabilities have been patched. So now it gives me an idea that there's one more vulnerability, which is a known vulnerability also, and that needs to be patched. So so that is that for that. Then we can come here and copy this. Paste and click enter, and then here it says please create the following user. Now a developer should never do this. This should never just happen. But anyways, we see the username to be here, Rohit, over here, right? So, and then the password is company default. Now, I've used pfSense before, and likes of pfSense and Metasploit and all that. So I have an idea of what the username, for example, Metasploit, we have the username to be admin. So here, since we have the password to be Rohit, now I tried this before. Using capital R does not work, so we switch it to small letter r. And again, this is where we just have to play around the login details. Now, one of the few things I've noticed with this box specifically is the password, and in doing other boxes is that the password is that the password is the name of the box. We can try out many things like Rohit admin, Rohit, QWERTY123, or the QWERTY, or we can do password 123. We can do many things, or we can use Hydra to help us brute force this web application that we have over here. But one of the reasons why you need to be careful with brute forcing with Hydra is that many of the times your web application may have a firewall that could block IP address if you do more than a certain amount of brute force. I think sometimes if you do 100 over there, like for example, if a user basically hosts his or her web application on an AWS, you can use like the AWS WAF, and then and the AWS WAF definitely would kind of block your IP address away from continuing conducting any brute forcing on the target. So that's something else you need to also look at. So many of the times I'll first try out many things like name of the box, admin, password, and so on and so forth. Then okay, again, if I use Hydra and I get blocked, most times what I have to do is I have to spin up a new server or a new instance like on Linode or DigitalOcean, and then use that to attack the machine from there, and then probably transfer every document I have into my local host. But anyways, the password here was pfSense, the name of the box, and let me just come here and clear this. So in looking at this particular file, I couldn't really find anything here. So here there were a whole bunch of stuff over here that we could look at, but there was really nothing for me here after looking at it. So and there's one more thing else that I would need to do also, which is using searchsploit. But now let's look here. We can see the version over here running 2.1.3 release. So basically it's the version number. So we can look at searchsploit and narrow down a search, because if we do searchsploit over here and we don't put the version, it gives us a whole bunch of lists. We don't know which we are going to be using, right? But now we have 2.1.3. So if we search over here 2.1.3, okay, over here we have the closest, which is 2.1.4 over here, right? Or less, right? So now, but we can do our searchsploit and just get 2.1.3, and then it gives us this. So this over here is the script we'll be using. Now I've already copied the script into, because I use this script a lot. I just don't only use it for a pfSense platform. I use it for other boxes that I will be working on later videos. So we just again, this script is not just meant for pfSense. It can be used for something else. Now let's go into that particular platform where I have it in. Is it reverse shell or privileged escalation? I think it's reverse shell. Let me see if I have it there. No, okay. just cd in here and do ls. Nope. Okay. So we have prefix over here. No, I think it's reverse actually. I put it in. All right. So let's specify any list real quick. All right. Now, so this is the file. I just changed the name just to remind me of what it's used for. It's a command injection pfsm.py. Let's just examine the file and let's see what the file is requiring from us. So if we look at here, the file is requiring few arguments for us to give it. It's requiring an rhost, lhost, lport, username, and password. So these are some of the parameters we have to give to the box. Just open here so that I know what exactly I want to do. So, all right, so we'll just put this over here. So this is what this is. So if we read what it does, it says this script will return a reverse shell on specified listener address and port. Ensure you have started a listener to catch the shell before it runs. So again, we have to start a listener and then run this and give this the parameters that it's requiring, and then we should get a shell afterwards. So now we can do command. So we also saw that it was running Python 3 also. So you can do Python 3 and then the whole box. All right, here. Now we can see here that it required --rhost, which is 10. Let's look at the target machine 10.129. Okay, so this was the previous box I used it for. So we see that it's requiring 112.114. So we would look at 112.148, and then lhost here is 10.10.14.70, and the L port that we're going to be listening on will be port 88. Sorry, and the username Rohit, which we already found initially, and the password pfSense, which we guessed is the name of the box. Again, but we have to spin up our listening host and our netcat listener on port 888. And we should run the script and it should give us a shell back. So we can see here, can access TTY job control turned off. Now I did try to update the TTY, the teletype over here, but it gave me an error. So for some reason it didn't do that. But now if we do an ID to see who we are, we can see our user ID over here is running as root. So which already solves everything else. So if we were already running as root, this is a pretty easy box anyways. If we're already running as roots, then we can basically sit into home, right? And okay, maybe sit into, where are we actually? PWD. Oh, all right. So we'll sit into root home and we'll ls, and then we'll see Rohit, and then we'll sit into our Rohit user, then we'll ls, and then we'll cat our user.txt. .txt, and then we get the file over here. Right now, the next thing is, since we're already root on the system, since the user already root already there, then we can basically do cd root, then get the root user, the root flag, and then we can see the root.txt file over here, and then we can cat that out. .txt. All right, and cat that out over here. All right, so this is our first flag, the user.txt flag, and the root.txt flag. All right, I hope this video has been very informative, and I'll see you in the next video node. Thank you.